up and start playing Apna game. Download the app now.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Today. My name is Martin, joined by the big good in the house. I was Good morning, gentlemen. Aaj day is what I call it. Murad, what is your take on the matches that we have in our hands?
Look at Rajarshi. He's decked up for the occasion, shaved in the morning, looking dapper. He's ready for the Sunday. And Pragyan Ojha has had scrambled eggs on toast for breakfast because the whole pool is scrambled.
What about you? How are you prepared for the day?
I've not...
he's ready with two things: either Rashogola today with full smile, or he'll do something to the fantasy league so that he's happy. Because Kolkata, I know from somewhere he thinks that Kolkata, he'll be backing Kolkata for sure.
So no, Pragyan. Morning I had dosa. Lunch I'll have butter chicken. Night I'll have this is the fun of the IPL. You can pick and choose. And kal, or rather day after, I will order special Hyderabadi biryani to be flown in. Having said that, what Ridhima said, what 2 games, man? What 2 games? I mean,
amazing.
Anyone wants to really do something on a Sunday, sit in front of your TV and watch the IPL. This tournament, I was telling Saurav that, oh, what a tournament. And he's telling me every year it's like this. Actually that, I mean, saying this is the best year, this is the best year. What a magical cricket tournament this IPL is. But if we really decode, all of you, Pragyan Ojha, you start as the jack in the pack. How does MS Dhoni control Chris Gayle?
I think it will be very interesting how he controls other, because as far as I know, MSD's captaincy, what he'll do is he'll make sure, he'll not try and attack Chris Gayle, or he'll not try to intimidate Chris Gayle, but he will try and put pressure on others so that, they have a different approach to the game. It will not be a conventional approach. That's what I feel. He'll try and pressurize the other batsman. He'll try and keep the other batsman on strike and put indirect pressure on Chris Gayle. That's what MS Dhoni has done all these years. If he knows this guy is too good, he'll try and play with his mind in a very different way. And I feel that is a better strategy than, trying to be brave and getting this guy out, especially with the bowling that CSK has. Their spinners have not done so much what we have seen all these years these guys have done. But what he will do is he'll use his bowlers smartly against others and keep this guy frustrated on the non-striker end.
You've played under MS. Let's get this a little forward. This is amazing. So for example, it's a huge India-Australia match or whatever match. I mean, you are bowling to a top batsman. So what would he come and talk to you about? This is incredible that what you are telling us, that he'll keep this batsman on strike. This is psychology. This is what I love. I mean, this is what I love about sport, the mind. Give us a little bit more of this mind.
There were many a time when some batsman is playing really well. So what he'll do is he'll try and put attacking field for the other batsman who's not settled and try and play with his mind and keep this batsman on the non-striker end and frustrate him. At many a times we have seen, when a batsman is in good form or a bowler is in good form, he wants to bowl or he wants to bat. If you don't let him do what he wants to do when he's in form, he gets that frustration. At times, it goes against you. So, and all of us know how he plays those mind games with the opponent. He'll not do the usual things. He'll do things differently.
Excellent.
That's true. That is absolutely true, Rajashri. But it's not just Chris Gayle. You've got a KL Rahul there, who's also in great form. And the big update that everybody's asking for, Boryada, is Mayank Agarwal playing today?
From what I understand, no. He will still take about 2-3 more days. So if they push him, that's a different matter. Otherwise, no. It will be Mandeep Singh and KL Rahul. Also by Mandeep Singh, because they feel that, Mayank, they need to give him that sort of cushion so that he is ready for Australia. and you cannot risk him. And if they do make the playoffs, then he might play the playoffs, is what I'm getting. Also, I think Mandeep Singh will be good enough against CSK because there's no Jofra Archer or Rabada or any of that pace. I mean, it'll be Deepak Chahar 135, Sam Curran 135, Lungi Ngidi 135. So I don't think Mandeep Singh will have that problem.
Right. So in that case, Rajashri, it's not just Gayle. There is a great batting lineup out there. And of course, you've got Mandeep Singh who's firing now. So KL Rahul, Chris Gayle. What is the strategy would MSD go for with this entire lineup?
I think Pragyan explained that very well. Since he has played at the top level, he's done so well in the IPL. He's played under MS. He knows exactly what Dhoni would try to do under these circumstances. But he also pointed out something very important. Their spinners haven't done very well, and remember, Chris Gayle. Every batsman they've had their nemesis in the past. The great Sachin Tendulkar. You spoke about. We've all written thousands and hundreds and thousands of words about him, but the only bowler that he admitted to having issues against was Hansi Crony. Look at the way Virat Kohli has had issues against Sandeep Sharma. Sandeep Sharma has now got dismissed Virat Kohli the most times in the IPL. Chris Gayle, in the past, and Pragyan would probably agree that he's had issues against quality of spin, but obviously CSK don't have that luxury, and even their spinners quite haven't stood up. And what Pragyan said, if you keep someone like Chris Gayle away from strike, and Dhoni is a master at doing that. So if he can do that, I wouldn't say that's half the battle won, but there'll be definite pressure on the other batsman at the other end, right, to get Chris Gayle on strike. And remember, Chris Gayle deals in sixes. He's got nearly over 10,000 T20 runs. 6,000 of those have come with 1,000 shots. So imagine those 6 hitting spree. And he's already hit the most sixes in the 2020 IPL. So it is going to be a tricky proposition. But having said that, when you talk about the Kings 11 batting lineup, do not forget what the lower order can also do. They haven't had a bulk load to do. The likes of Glenn Maxwell we've spoken about, he's not had the best of the IPL. But over the last, over the second half, a couple of these games, he's threatened to take it away. And today could be one of those days. You never know. With a player like Glenn Maxwell, you've all spoken about him. What that one spark could do. You never know where that might come out from.
I think if it's not today, then, and if it's not today for Glenn Maxwell, then you should not be thinking of playing IPL for sure. Because Kings 11 will totally depend on him. Isn't it, Boryada? I believe.
I don't think he has it in the mind. He's not a good enough player. He doesn't have it in the mind. I mean, when is the last time Glenn Maxwell? If you go and, by the way, this is off record. If you go and off record from the Australians, by the way, ask Australian cricketers. Go and ask Australian cricketers about Glenn Maxwell. They will tell you he doesn't have it in the mind. When is the last time that Glenn Maxwell has really stood up in the IPL? Never. Think of a big match, pressure match where he stood up for Australia. Hardly. I mean, except one or two here, there. I don't rate Glenn Maxwell. I don't rate players who are not strong mentally. I don't rate them high because in a pressure game, you want these guys, even if you are not the most talented in the world, if you have it in you here, in the heart and in the mind that this is my game, such people are way more important to me. For example, I will bank on Nicholas Pooran 200 times out of 200 rather than banking on Glenn Maxwell. From what he's done in life, to come back from that injury, 6 months, he did not know how to walk. Can he walk? Can he ever stand up from there to where he is, Nicholas Pooran? For me, any day, Nicholas Pooran. Glenn Maxwell is an overrated cricketer.
But Boria, just a question for you, since you know these franchises very well, and you're right when you point out, both you and Pragyan, that Glenn Maxwell hasn't quite done anything this IPL. He's not ever done anything significant in the IPL. What is it that leads these franchises to spend such big money on Glenn Maxwell? A couple of seasons back,
See, there are certain, money is not always the explanation, Rajesh. I've actually, this is a fantastic question. And I've actually tried to analyze this. I've never been able to analyze 21 or 22 crores on Jaydev Unadkat, for example. Now, if you say, does Jaydev Unadkat deserve the 22 crores? No, I mean, in that sense, no. But money, oftentimes what is available in the pool in terms of players, and then you decide, okay, I'll splurge on this guy. Does Pat Cummins merit 15.5 crores? Who knows? No. Did Tymal Mills merit 12.5 crores in an IPL auction? Chris Wokes about 11 crores. So if you really go down history and see the amount of money splurged on particular players, you will never be able to come up with logical explanations. Glenn Maxwell, certain players have this reputation preceding them that, oh, he can do that, he can. But when it comes to crunch and when it comes to numbers, that's why I said, if you really go and speak around and find out and do your math and do your research and come and see, can I bank on Glenn Maxwell in a World Cup semi-final, in an IPL playoff contest or a knockout one? I don't think Glenn Maxwell is your best bet.
Well,
I
in
think
that case, yeah.
lot of times what happens is the franchisee, they have their first 15, and in that 15 they will have their backup, and also they'll have the backup for that backup when they go into the auction.
Yeah.
So when they're picking the players, if they don't get the A plan right, they'll go for the B plan, they'll go for the C plan, and by the time they reach B or C, they'll be desperate to get that number 5, number 6 players. So in that pool, if somebody is there, there's like maybe when you're ending the auction, there are 2 or 3 players who you want badly because you want that slot for certain players. So that's how the auction goes. It really doesn't justify at times, but in auction it goes. And saying that a player has no control over it. A lot of times we have seen somebody gets so much money, but it's like the player is there just like somebody else. It's just that at that particular situation, some teams, they need him badly, so that they go for him. The same with Glenn Maxwell. Maybe they wanted somebody in that slot, and they thought he's the one of the guys who can do it for them. They backed him. That's why I'm repeatedly saying that this is the time where he has to repay. This is the game where he has to do it, or else it is going to be very difficult for him to. People will start having their own opinion about him. From next year onwards, it will be difficult for him because he's got enough of run to prove himself. Now this is the game where he can change a lot of things.
That's true. In that case, Boyaga, there are a lot of players in the KKR lineup that need to also prove themselves, especially Pat Cummins.
Very good question, Ridhima. Very good question. Pat Cummins, though, has sort of shown in patches what he can do. I mean, even in the last game, those 2 critical wickets at that point in time. But with your permission, let me give you a sense of an auction. I mean, Rajoshi asked this question. I think all your viewers will want to know this. Okay. And by the way, this is first-hand knowledge from Sanjeev Goenka, who was a team owner himself. Okay, so these guys, if I know right, and this is the first time I'm saying this in a public platform, if I know right, they had gone with a 10.5 crore threshold for Ben Stokes. Okay, pre-auction, there was a debate whether Sanjeev himself should sit in the auction or not. And again, the think tank of that particular side, they decided that Sanjeev should sit only because at that point, when it comes to that critical part, should you go up the threshold or not, only the owner, who is the one who is calling the shots and has the purse, should take that call or is in a position to take that call. Okay. So for example, Raghu Iyer cannot take that call. As the CEO, you have a certain threshold, you have made your plans as an analyst, but you cannot take that call saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to go 10.5, doesn't matter, 12 crores. That's why the team owner is so important. Akash Ambani is important. Any one of those, Shah Rukh Khan is important. Shah Rukh Khan, by the way, was in Calcutta for the Pat Cummins auction. He sat there for that particular auction, then went out. I was there. I covered that auction. In fact, I had a chat with him. So there are these very critical moments. Okay, Sanjeev was sitting there, and it went up to 10.5, and the call was, should we give it? Should we leave it? And if you go back and see, they left it for a while, or they so something like that. 12.5 CR, they came back. So by then, the table had decided that whatever money we have, we are going to put it in the Ben Stokes basket. And that's an owner call. That is not a rational call. That's an owner call. So you decide, okay, I have decided Ben Stokes is my man. Whatever the money he goes for, I'm going to take him. And then it becomes a bidding war. That's when auctions become bidding war. Because you're talking about 10 of India's richest people sitting there in that auction. There is ego. There is sort of craze that, okay, I want this guy. There is belief that, okay, I can get it right. And each of these people are successful business people. Huh? So they have their own analogies that how to run a particular business, and IPL is a business. So that's when it went up to 14 CR. And this chap was like, 14, should I give 14? And I remember this. Asked him later, you went for 14 and a half. He said, by then I was determined. If I had to go for 15, I'll go for 15. And he got him for 14 and a half CR. That's how an auction works.
Wow. In that case, which team would you say, Boryada, in one of the in the auctions comes up with the best strategy? Will it be Mumbai Indians because they're performing, but other than that?
Mumbai Indians, for example, the last auction came up with this brilliant strategy. Chris Lynn came, and I know this because Mrs. Ambani and Akash spoke to me at the start of the auction. And in fact, I remember the question they asked me, what do you think of Chris Lynn? And I'm like, not in the best of form, but obviously a very good T20 player. And this was before the auction started. We're just having a chat, and they were entering the auction room. Chris Lynn, if you see, and I vividly remember this. Chris Lynn was the first name to be picked. Mumbai Indians did not win, and when base price was 2 crores, they went bang, base price 2 crores. The others were still figuring out, should we go, should we not go, should we go, should we not go? They picked Chris Lynn up for 2 crores. The moment that first round ended, Akash came out and was like, steal, right? And I said, steal. So that's how an auction mentality works, that you are ready, that, okay, I'm going to go in. So there are certain people who will wait. So the bidding is on, and they'll wait. Only when the auctioneer says, okay, last call, that's when you enter with a bid which will surprise the others, and you take that guy and move out. So there are these incredibly interesting auction strategies for the IPL, and I think Mumbai Indians has got it right. Most occasions they've got it right. The other team that has actually got it right is Sunrisers Hyderabad. If you see the way Sunrisers Hyderabad not spent the most amount of money, but every year they've made the playoffs. They've won the tournament once. Look at Sunrisers Hyderabad. They are not Mumbai Indians or glitz and glamour, but they've got it right. They've got some of the balance right. So it's auction at some point we should discuss, because it's a fascinating subject.
Amazing. We'll definitely do an entire show on auction. I think it totally deserves it. It's going to be really, really fascinating, like you just said. With that, KKR versus Rajasthan, Pragyan. So Boryada has already claimed that he's going to have biryani by the end of the night. What are you going to have?
I'm going to have a Super Sunday.
So is that an ice cream with cherry on top?
Yes, that we'll see. And that we'll see end of the day how it is. But it's going to be a Super Sunday, because today will decide a lot of things. And saying that the afternoon game will be a different game, and the evening game will be a different game. The only difference will be due, as I told you yesterday. So afternoon game will be more balanced, and the evening game, it will depend on, as Boryada was saying, that whoever wins the toss, I'll back them, because once you win the toss, you field first and then bat. So let's see how it goes. But if you look at Rajasthan Royals, they are a super side, and with the way these guys are going with the bat, especially Ben Stokes, I think if he gets started, then I think it'll be a problem for KKR.
Yes. Rajashri, I would still say that, Punjab versus CSK is still a battle, because Punjab look like clear favorites there. But Rajasthan versus SRH is pure war, because from the last that Rajasthan played, Boryada, very clearly, I remember very clearly.
Rajasthan and KKR.
It was KKR.
KKR.
Sorry. Yeah, last time that Rajasthan played, they absolutely looked lethal. And Boryada, I remember you saying that they look like a really, really dangerous team. So SRH is not going to have very easy today.
KKR. Look, it's
Sorry, my bad. KKR.
Yeah, it's going to be. There's so much talk of biryani. Ridhima has already.
No. I tell you. Why did I tell you it's a Super Sunday? See the pressure. Our anchor is feeling already.
No, look. For the last 3 weeks, I have been literally begging for a Ben Stokes special, and he's produced those 2 masterclasses. That 100. And then that all-round effort in the last game. You're right, Ridhima. This RR KKR game, on the face of it, looks like a no contest. But, the Knight Riders, the top 3, apart from Mumbai Indians, DC, RCB, KKR, at some stage or the other, they've surprised all of us with their sudden slip in terms of what they've done. And look at last weekend, the way the Knight Riders decimated Delhi Capitals. Who would have thought? Because when last weekend, when Delhi Capitals went to that game against KKR, they were clear favorites. coming into Sunday, a lot of pressure. And look at the equations. Obviously, KXIP lose, they're gone. But if KXIP win, either of RR or KKR, whoever loses tonight, they are out. But that still doesn't assure them of a qualification, right? Because Sunrisers Hyderabad, all they need to do now is focus on their last game against Mumbai Indians and take it away. But yes, you're right when you said that man to man right now, Rajasthan Royals look a lot more balanced, a lot more phenomenal. Ben Stokes is in form. He himself was surprised with the fact that he arrived late to the party. And Boria and Pragyan both mentioned the last time that it is good that Sanju Samson is back among the runs. He's got his shots again. Robbie Uttappa, this was a call Pragyan took on Sports Today. Hopefully, Rajasthan Royals were listening to us. And that very same afternoon, Robin Uttappa was promoted up the order. So they've got their bases covered. They've got the bases covered. And it had been another team, you could have at least said that Ben Stokes is the difference. But here, it's right now on current form, Rajasthan Royals are just way further ahead than KKR. It's going to take a phenomenal effort from KKR to actually match that quarter. Imagine Ben Stokes, Steve Smith hasn't had a lot to do, but he is there and thereabouts. He's got those quick runs to get the net run rate in check. Sanju Samson is in form. Robbie Uthappa has been giving them decent starts. And Josh Butler, you can never count that man out. So, phenomenal lineup for KKR to overcome.
Right.
And
so
what about our man, Jofra Archer?
Jofra Archer is and we've spoken about that as well, haven't we? Jofra Archer is the fact that he hasn't had a lot of bowling backup like Agiz Rabada and Pragyan. You pointed that out very well, but he just gets in there right with his pace and he gets those crucial wickets in the power play, and this will definitely screws him up. When Jofra Archer, you have to look at the rest of the bowling attack. It is not as lethal as, let's say, a combined Mumbai Indians bowling attack. But Jofra, he doesn't even need the pitch to be responsive because he can just bowl those thunderbolts. Can't he, Pragyan?
Yeah, he can. For sure. Whenever I look at him, I feel like, he's like Usain Bolt. At times, Usain Bolt, when he's running, he's just looking back and he's seeing that who's there behind me. That's how this guy does. He just runs slowly, and when he reaches that the mark, the way he generates the pace is amazing. It really surprises the batsman. And if you talk about experienced player, they are surprised. Think about the young boys. Last time Mandeep, he was totally shocked the way that ball went with the pace. It was climbing, and with the pace it was climbing. Amazing. And Boryada also said, they have a new strategy now. They have slips, they have fielder close-in now. It's more like a test match now, isn't it, Boryada?
Absolutely.
Well, Boryada, in today's match, the teams don't just have to win. They also have to take care of the run rate, which means either they try and finish the game before 20 overs or sort of win with a very, very big margin. So there are lots and lots of points to be taken care of in today's matches.
Absolutely. I mean, having said that, you don't play for weather, you don't play for run rate. You only, for example, the other team is bundled out for 120, do you do that? First is the win. And that's why when Pragyan said, the stakes can't be higher, he's right. And yet, the stakes are at its highest and yet have no value. For example, if Sunrisers Hyderabad win, finished. Sunrisers Hyderabad are still the masters of their own destiny, right? So, however much you do today, you still have to depend on another team. That's how the magic IPL is. Pragyan mentioned Usain Bolt. Actually, that analogy, and the moment he mentioned, I was thinking back to Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt and Jofra Archer are very similar. 2012 Olympics, Usain Bolt creates that record, the whole of the London Olympic Stadium. He enters the London Olympic Stadium, and there were about 80,000 people packed, and he does, and the whole stadium is quiet. And then he does this, and the whole stadium erupts with him. 80,000 people for 9.5 seconds. There was pin drop silence. Now take it to the press conference. He comes to the press conference, and because they are host broadcasters, BBC, they get the first chance. Okay, so this guy puts his hand up, and Usain Bolt is like, and he says, "No man, me greatest man, me greatest, no Carl Lewis." And the whole hall was like, "What is this man saying?" And he just went for Carl Lewis. That night, there was a show planned between Carl Lewis and Usain Bolt in one of those black London taxis. Obviously, the show got cancelled. Jofra Archer is very much like this. He's a phenomenon. He's a character. He's borrowed a couple of more gold chains from Bappi Lahiri, and he looks all the more lethal, right? With those gold chains dangling. He's unreal, man. I mean, Jofra Archer gives me this incredible vibe. Incredible vibe. I mean, having covered Usain Bolt multiple times, sort of interviewed him, there are.
I think we just sort of having a technical difficulty there, but I have to tell you this, Pragyan. My closest interaction with Jofra Archer, the finals of the World Cup, New
Oh,
Zealand versus
wow.
England, and you won't believe it. I was standing on the boundary when that last, the second super over was being played, and there was pin drop silence in the entire lot because nobody knew exactly who won. No, I mean, the audience actually kept quiet because nobody really understood till the time that rules sort of, sunk in, ki, acha, this is how this particular team has won. But before that, the entire lot was quiet. And then I saw Jofra Archer fall down to the ground and started crying. And that's where I think that was my closest interaction with the man. And exactly what Boreda pointed out, when I saw him, I realized how lethal this man actually looks, forget the way he plays. That was my very first interaction with with my first
Amazing,
face-to-face
amazing.
encounter with Job.
And then the fact is
And
that yeah, bring it on.
I was saying, and the Jofra Archer, the Twitter man, the way
Oh,
he
yeah.
tweets, you see all his tweets, yeah, they're like he just tweets something and it is like it comes out true in the future. Amazing. This guy is a character. You can't keep him out of anything. If he's there, and he will make sure he's always on your face.
Yeah. Whether you were saying something, please finish.
No. I was about to say I missed your story, but I'll take it from you later because any Jofra Archer story has to be added to my collection.
All right, with that, let's shift gears to our very special segment, Pro Fantasy Tips from Boreda himself, brought to you by Clear Sport. Bring it on.
It's become as if this, robot, switch karo, fantasy bolo. Henceforth, I will go to the Pada crossing and वो जो parrot लेके बैठ जाते थे वैसे बैठ जाएंगे. मैं भाई fantasy के लिए आ जाओ. So unbelievable. But one thing I'm actually doing today, and Pragyan and Rajarshi and all of you alluded to this about the second game. Second game, I'm actually not going with the toss. I'm actually saying whatever happens, Rajasthan Royals is the team to back because Ben Stokes and Archer, they don't depend on the dew. They don't depend on the. So, for example, if Australia plays Afghanistan or Australia plays whatever, will you, and there is dew, will you back Australia? Will you back Afghanistan? Simple. So, I am actually, however much there can be dew, and however much KKR might have surprised Delhi Capitals, I think on current form, current momentum, Rajasthan Royals is way ahead. Again, I can be wrong. I can be very badly wrong. And why I'm saying this? Nitish Rana, Rahul Tripathi, in that top order, and if they send Dinesh Karthik at 4 or some inspired brainwave sends Rinku Singh at 4, doesn't survive Jofra Archer. Except Shubman Gill, who is quality in terms of his technique and inability. I don't see that KKR top order, despite Nitish having scored those 250s, surviving Jofra Archer's 3 overs. That's why dew, no dew, don't care. I will go with Rajasthan. So let me give you that team first. Ben Stokes captain, Jofra Archer vice captain, Robin Uthappa, Steven Smith, Sanju Samson. The real call is between Joss Butler and one bowler. I have actually dropped Butler and gone with Karthik Tyagi. So that's 6. Number 7 is an interesting one. Check your points. I don't think you will have enough for Butler. Go with Rahul Tewatia or Shreyash Gopal. I will go with Gopal, give myself a bit of a bowling option because of wickets. So it's Jofra Archer, Karthik Tyagi and Shreyash Gopal. And then among Kolkata Knight Riders, Shubman Gill, Owen Morgan, Pat Cummins. And the last spot is a bit of a floater. Because if they send Sunil Narayan, see again that Andre Russell thing comes in, If Andre Russell plays in this kind of a match, I will go with Andre Russell. Because he's a freak. He is a freak. So I will put Andre Russell into the mix as that last floating jack in the pack thing. I will not go with Sunil Narayan, because Sunil Narayan, they'll take 1 over of Jofra Archer to knock him off, because it's predictable. Sunil Narayan is predictable. Short, body gone. Only in a rare day will Sunil Narayan fire. So that's my side. 7-4 Rajasthan, 4 Rajasthan top order, Butler floating, 3 Rajasthan bowlers with that 1 floater, Pat Cummins confirmed, Morgan confirmed, Gill confirmed, and the last one from Kolkata depends on Russell. If Russell plays, then Russell. Otherwise, it's a floater, and there Varun Chakravarti comes in for that last spot.
Very interesting. Rajashri, any changes to that?
No, for that, not too many actually. And since Boria has given such a brilliant layover again, but yes, I have Ben Stokes as my captain and Jofra Archer as my vice captain too. But I've gone, as of now, I've gone with a 6-5. So yes, there's Smith, there's Archer, there's Gopal, Sanju Samson again. It's still a team in the making right up until the toss, since it's the second match of the day. It's a little tricky, and Boria has alluded to that earlier as well, that, and he's repeatedly said, and it's obviously paid off for him and a lot of others who have subscribed to our channel, and I'm watching it religiously, is that don't opt for the top 2. Boria, correct me if I'm wrong, right? That is what your tip always is, that don't go for the top 2 of the same team, given what has been happening. And obviously, when you go to KKR, you don't want Shubman Gill and either Nitish Rana or Rahul Tripathi together. Shubman Gill certainly makes the cut that way from KKR. So I have Owen Morgan, Nitish Rana, and as of now I have Sunil Narayan. And Boria's point again is very well taken. If he says when he says that if Andre Russell plays, then he becomes an automatic swap. And I have Varun Chakravarti, Lockie Ferguson, and Pat Cummins from the Knight Riders, and hoping that Lockie Ferguson gets to bowl first up, because he's been the last couple of matches, he's bowled after the power play towards the end, which is not quite suited him. So you hope that
I think it's more got to do with the matchup. That's what my cricketing sense tells me. It's more got to do with the matchup. Now, most of the teams are doing matchup. So they are not giving the new ball to Ferguson, or there are a lot of people, you get surprised, when they come in a particular situation, like, Jasprit Bumrah, he did not get the new ball. So this is all matchup. They want to try new things, and they want to depend on the, they analyze the game, and they depend on analyze after, sorry. They see if a particular player is not doing well against a particular bowler, or a particular batsman is not comfortable against somebody, so that's how they match it up. So that's how they go nowadays.
Okay. All right. But with that, final predictions, I think everybody's backing here, Punjab and RR.
Yes.
If anybody has an objection, raise your hand now. This is the time.
CSK, I think they will not go down easily. The way they have been playing, you see, last 2 games. So I want some excitement still going till the last day. So let's see.
You will anyway have it. You will anyway have
it.
Yeah,
definitely I will have it, but little more. Sorry.
The last game is anyway going to be a decider, almost.
It will be.
And it will be more exciting, Pragyan, if Punjab win tonight. It will be more exciting if Punjab win tonight, so that our SRH, they have a positive net run rate there. So among the 12 pointers, SRH have the best net run rate, right? So let Kings 11 Punjab win, let Rajasthan Royals win, because they obviously look the more settled side. And then you have SRH who have to bank on.
And then you want a good Mumbai Indian side to play.
Absolutely, with nobody rested.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see SRH team, with the fingers crossed, hoping that. Sorry, Punjab, what is wrong with you? Why am I seeing SRH so much? I'll tell you why, Boria.
Biryani.
I've been intermittent. No, I've been on this intermittent fasting, and since morning I've not eaten anything. And the moment you said biryani, I'm around that. It's like a halo around.
So what are you doing for 14 hours or 16 hours?
16 hours. 16 hours. But
anyway, I still can't make 16. I've done 14 for the last 3, 4, 5 months. I'm used to 14 now, but 16 is still a little too much for me.
All right. All the point I was trying to make: if Punjab wins today, you'll just be sitting with the fingers crossed, hoping that SRH just doesn't win, and that side for me would be something. Well, with that, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for joining in this morning. Of course, we're going to see you post the match. Plenty of question marks today, but at least some of them will get answered by the end of the day. All right, we're going to see you post the match. Till then, have a great day ahead.
And go and have a